The foreign relations of Iran are the economic and diplomatic relationships between the Iranian government and governments of other countries. Geography is a very significant factor in informing Iran's foreign policy. Following the 1979 Iranian Revolution, the newly formed Islamic Republic, under the leadership of Ayatollah Khomeini, dramatically reversed the pro-American foreign policy of the last Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Since then, the country's policies have oscillated between the two opposing tendencies of revolutionary ardor to eliminate Western and non-Muslim influences while promoting the Islamic revolution abroad, and pragmatism, which would advance economic development and normalization of relations. Iran's bilateral dealings are accordingly sometimes confused and contradictory. Iran currently maintains diplomatic relations with 97 countries. According to data published by the Reputation Institute, Iran is the world's second most hated country, just ahead of Iraq, and has held that position for the 3 consecutive years of 2016, 2017, and 2018. Islamism and nuclear proliferation are recurring issues with Iran's foreign relations. In a series of international polls by Pew Research in 2012, only one country had majority support for tougher sanctions on Iran, while majorities in China, Russia, and Turkey opposed tougher sanctions. Iranians have traditionally been highly sensitive to foreign interference in their country, pointing to such events as the Russian conquest of northern parts of the country in the course of the 19th century, the tobacco concession, the British and Russian occupations of the First and Second World Wars, and the Kia plot to overthrow Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. This suspicion manifests itself in attitudes that many foreigners might find incomprehensible, such as the fairly common belief that the Iranian Revolution was actually the work of a conspiracy between Iran's Shia clergy and the British government. This may have been a result of the anti-Shah bias in BBC Radio's influential Persian broadcasts into Iran. A BBC report of the 23rd of March 2009 explains that many in Iran saw the broadcaster and the government as one, and interpreted the bias for Khomeini as evidence of weakening British government support for the Shah. It is entirely plausible that the BBC did indeed help hasten revolutionary events. Under the Khomeini government, Iran's foreign policy often emphasized the elimination of foreign influence and the spread of Islamic revolution over state-to-state relations or the furtherance of trade. In Khomeini's own words, "We shall export our revolution to the whole world, until the cry, 'There is no God but Allah,' resounds over the whole world. There will be struggle." The Islamic Republic's effort to spread the revolution is considered to have begun in earnest in March 1982, when 380 men from more than 25 Arab and Islamic nations met at the former Tehran Hilton Hotel for a seminar on the ideal Islamic government, and, less academically, the launch of a large-scale offensive to cleanse the Islamic world of the satanic Western and communist influences that were seen to be hindering the Islamic world's progress. The gathering of militants, primarily Shia but including some Sunnis, with various religious and revolutionary credentials, was hosted by the Association of Militant Clerics and the Pasdaran Islamic Revolutionary Guards. The nerve center of the Revolutionary Crusade, operational since shortly after the 1979 revolution, was located in downtown Tehran and known to outsiders as the Talghani Center. Here the groundwork for the gathering was prepared. The establishment of Arab cadres, recruited or imported from surrounding countries to spread the revolution, and provision of headquarters for such groups as the Islamic Front for the Liberation of Bahrain, the Iraqi Shia movement, and Philippine Moro, Kuwaiti, Saudi, North African and Lebanese militant clerics. These groups came under the umbrella of the Council for the Islamic Revolution, which was supervised by Ayatollah Hussein Ali Montazeri, the designated heir of Ayatollah Khomeini. Most of the council's members were clerics, but they also reportedly included advisors from the Syrian and Libyan intelligence agencies. The council apparently received more than $1 billion annually in contributions from the faithful in other countries and in funds allocated by the Iranian government. Its strategy was two-pronged. armed struggle against what were perceived as Western imperialism and its agents, and an internal purifying process to free Islamic territory in Muslim minds of non-Islamic cultural, intellectual and spiritual influences. By providing justice, services, resources to the mustazafin masses of the Muslim world, these attempts to spread its Islamic revolution strained the country's relations with many of its Arab neighbors, and the extrajudicial execution of Iranian dissidents in Europe.